this morning, it was the kind of a courtroom shocker that you'd usually read about in a John Grisham novel. The final day of closing arguments in the Feeding Our Future fraud trial began with a stunning curveball. The judge suddenly dismissed a juror after somebody reportedly showed up at that juror's house and tried to bribe them with a big bag of money. I'm just going to let Kent take it from here.
Yes, Jana, we have photos. According to a search warrant filed this afternoon, this is that bag of money, adorned with butterflies on the outside and $120,000 in cash on the inside. And because the FBI is now trying to track down the source of this bag, the judge in the case has sequestered the jury and minutes ago ordered that all 7 defendants be taken into custody until a verdict comes. According to the warrant, this started when a woman showed up at the doorstep of juror number 52 just before 9 p.m. last night with that bag of cash, which included $100, $50, and $20 bills, again amounting to about $120,000. The juror wasn't home, but the woman reportedly handed the bag to a relative and said it was a present for the juror. According to the warrant, the woman told the relative to tell juror number 52 to say not guilty tomorrow, and there would be more of that present tomorrow. Now, the juror did not take the money. After returning home and speaking to the relative, she immediately called police, answered a few questions from the FBI, and handed over that cash. Today, the news caught everyone, including legal experts, by surprise.
If it's all true, it does feel like a blatant effort to tamper with the jury. It doesn't get a lot more blatant than saying, we have money for you and we'll have more money if you acquit.
This doesn't seem like something we've seen very often.
I can't think of anything in Minnesota. It definitely has happened in other parts of the country. I used to practice in Chicago, and stories like this were not at all unheard of, but I'm not familiar with anything like this happening in Minnesota, at least in any recent history.
Now, that is University of St. Thomas law professor Rachel Moran. She says despite how rare this is, it shouldn't impact the rest of this trial all that much. The judge did question each of the 17 jurors and alternates individually this morning to make sure nobody else had been approached. They all said no, by the way. She also decided to sequester them for their deliberations, which officially begins now, tonight, because the case was handed over to them. Of course, there is now there is still another criminal investigation on top of numerous other investigations related to this case. It's why the judge immediately had the cell phones of all 7 defendants confiscated this morning. According to that search warrants for the data on those phones, the woman who delivered the bag knew juror number 52's first name in addition to her address, details that only, according to the warrant, the legal teams and defendants had access to. Still, Moran says it will take time to unravel who might be connected to this alleged bag of money.
There are so many people charged in this alleged scheme of fraud. I mean, theoretically, there could be dozens of people involved in this, or it could be the act of one involved person. Right? Once you get federal investigators involved, the FBI has a lot of people and a lot of resources. I don't think they're going to shortchange their investigation into who was involved in this effort to tamper, why did it happen, and can they criminally charge someone for it.
As I mentioned, not only has the jury been sequestered, but the judge just had all 7 defendants taken back into custody. And just before doing so, I'm told an FBI agent had each defendant unlock their cell phone in the courtroom so that they could proceed with that search warrant, Jana. Something, again, you just don't see happen in courtrooms.
And they don't think that this is going to affect deliberations in any way. They're still going with the jury, minus that one person who was removed, bringing in an alternate, and they're still going to decide the case on these defendants, right, Kent?
Right. Now, keep in mind, this all played out this morning as far as dismissing that juror before the jury was seated, and then the judge brought them in individually to ask them if they'd been visited. So assuming that the jurors don't know that this happened to another juror, they're just taking the facts of the case. All the other stuff, well, that's a whole other ball of something to unwind here in the days and weeks to come.
This was a long case. They don't want to retry it, so doing all they can to get this case to this jury to get to a decision.
Yeah, 7 weeks this case has been going on. So much time and effort has gone into it. They certainly don't want to see it go away because of this.
Okay, thanks so much.